One murder every 30.5 minutes. One robbery every 1.7 minutes. One assault every 21.7 minutes. And over 85,000 active missing people. Crime happens anywhere and anytime. Thousands of unsolved cases causing time to stand still for its victims. The crime clock is ticking. The alarm has sounded. It's time for crime time.
And that's for sure. It's time for crime time. How's everybody doing? We got Sarah Block and Stacy Smith with me, and this is Jerry Dean. And I'm excited to start right off and tell you about a missing person called Sandra Crispo. She's 54 years old and she's missing from Hanson, Massachusetts. Massachusetts, that's a difficult word to say, huh? She was last seen on August 7th, 2019, and her daughter Lena went to her house on August 9th and Crispo was not there. The lights and the AC were on and the back door was unlocked and her dog was in the house. And there was no food or water for the dog. So you know there had been some time has gone by since the last time she gave the dog water or food. Her daughter went and reported her missing, and they found some surveillance video from where she dropped her car off at, and she was seen standing outside the car, and she was waiting to get a ride home. But that's it. That's all anybody's ever heard from her. She hasn't been heard on the 8th, and then her daughter just went over to her house on the 9th and found out she wasn't missing. But the thing about Sandy is she loved to stay home. She had this cute little house that she lived in. She loved to be there. She didn't go out and go partying or she didn't go anywhere. She just loved staying in a home. And her daughter would bring over her kids so Sandra could babysit them while she went to work. And that was her whole life. And she didn't have a big bunch of friends or anything. She just was satisfied with staying home in her house and being with her family, and that was her whole world. So it doesn't make any sense why she disappeared. Where'd she go? She doesn't have any medical issues. She doesn't have any mental issues. Police came over. They went around the neighborhood trying to find out where she might have went. They walked around the neighborhood, knocking on doors. No one saw her go missing. Nothing. What the heck happened to her? Right now, it's been, I said the 7th, so we're going on, what is today? We're going on like the 27th of August, and there's been
20 days.
There's been nothing about her. No one knows what happened to her. So hopefully someone has seen her. Somebody knows where she's at. If you do, you can call the Hanson Police Department. And as usual, just go to the Missing Persons of America website and you'll see a posting about her and you can learn some more about Sandra.
Sandra being a homebody, it just seems like very odd that dog was there and she probably taking care of everything. She loved being at home. I would definitely be alarmed myself if I was a friend or family member, because this does seem like for someone that can still homebody and kind of loves to be at home and taking care of things, this just seems like something that would raise your eyebrow.
One thing I wondered about is if the surveillance captured her waiting by her car, but her car was there to get fixed, and so you mentioned she was waiting for a ride. I wonder if we know what time of day that was. And my big question is, if she needed a ride, who would give her a ride? Was the mechanic in this town, was Hanson, Massachusetts, is that a small town? And the fact that her back door was unlocked, I know in suburbia, some people feel comfortable purposely leaving them unlocked, but sometimes it could be an accident. I try to practice locking my doors regardless if we're home or not, just because I know you could accidentally leave and your back door is unlocked and you've been gone for hours.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder if just the only part that has me puzzled is who gave that woman a ride from the mechanic.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, and I thought if maybe is that related? But nothing's been brought out about it.
Like
the police department hasn't said anything about it, so maybe it's already been cleared and they know there's no connection there.
And you said the daughter went to her house on August 9th on the Friday?
Okay.
So I think about if it would be interesting to know what time of day she went to the mechanic, just in terms of the whole food and water with the dog. We know dogs generally, they can handle someone being gone for a work day generally. But if she left everything, for example, ready for that dog on Wednesday morning on the 7th before taking care of her mechanic and car personal business, that dog would already be out of food and water by the time her daughter got there.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, yes. I don't know how the temperatures are there, but it does seem like there would have maybe been no activity after the mechanic and maybe no activity on Thursday in terms of her being in her home.
Well, it's interesting. The daughter feels that maybe somebody local might have something to do with her mom's disappearance, that there's some foul play related, and actually the police are starting to lean that way too, that this may be foul play.
Well, she was a grandmother, it sounds like, if
Mm-hmm.
her daughter has kids.
Right.
So how old is Sandra, Crispo?
54.
Okay, that's right. Okay, wow. She's a pretty young grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Does she work outside of the home?
No, she didn't.
I would be interested to know about if someone's waiting for a ride in these modern times, how we use our cell phones to text or call, or Uber or Lyft services. I'm just trying to paint a visual of, is there a trusted little small town where everybody knows everybody and it's not a big deal to feel like you can get a safe ride home while your car's at the mechanic. I just wonder something along those lines of trusting someone to get you home that you do know. To me, it would be perplexing that a mechanic shop wouldn't see who gave you a ride or know your whereabouts when you leave. I can see people not paying full attention, but in general, even a busy, bustly place like a Discount Tire, you kind of people watch, you know who's coming and going and driving off and walking off. I just sort of wonder about any witnesses that know that she got a ride in a certain car or recognized.
Well, yeah, they had that surveillance video that saw her standing next to the car, but it doesn't say anything about it seeing her in the car or leaving in the car. So that's a mystery.
And there's no description of the car.
No, but it may just be the fact that it's already been checked out. There's nothing there.
I live, of course, in a small town. And I would probably think nothing of if, say, one of the businesses here in my hometown was going to give me a ride. I would probably get in that car and not anything of it. You mentioned that maybe someone saw her at that tire store, but there may be, say, if it's at a slow point in the day, there really might not be that many people in and out of the store. The person that was on duty could have been concentrating on safe tires on, and when you get into that mode and you're trying to make sure you're meeting all your safety requirements and that no one comes back into the garage part of it or whatever, and so they might not have been paying attention to that, even though if they had any idea what was going to happen, maybe they would have taken notice. I've worked in small town businesses, and sometimes you do have those times of the day where it's just really slow. What time did you say that was, Jerry? Do we know what time she was at the tire shop?
I'm not sure. I didn't see anything posted about what time.
It was just a mechanic. I didn't mean to be confusing. Okay. I gave the example of Discount Tire for my last time of dealing with the car issue. So
yeah, really.
I didn't mean to be confusing. It was just a regular mechanic. So, and actually, Hanson is not so tiny after all. Depends on your definition of small town. But 2010, it already had a population of 10,209.
Ah, there you go.
It doesn't sound like it's just like one mechanic in town, or to me, I'd not enough reason to leave your door unlocked. Mm-hmm. Or not on purpose.
All right. Well, I hope that. All right. If you have any information about Sandra Crispo, just give a call to the Hanson Police Department. If you want to read more about the case, please go to Missing Persons of America website, and you can see Sandra's picture and read more about her.
The views expressed on this podcast are personal opinions only. While all attempts are made to present accurate information, it may not be appropriate for your specific circumstances, and information may become outdated over time. Crime Time Podcast does not assume any liability with regard to results based on the use of information provided here. Furthermore, advertisers, commentators, and linked sites are solely responsible for their views and content, which does not necessarily represent the views of Crime Time. We welcome you to download and play the podcast and share with others for personal use. Please acknowledge the Crime Time Podcast as the source of the material. You may not, except with our express written permission, distribute or commercially exploit the content. The information is provided by Crime Time Podcast. We endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct. We make no representations or warranties of any kind, express or implied, about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the website or the information, products, services, or related graphics contained on the website for any purpose. Any reliance you place on such information is therefore strictly at your own risk. Thank you. And by all means, shove a few more words into these paragraphs so that I have to read complicated, comma-placed statements throughout an entire document and then try to record it in one take.